I know the feeling, y'all. I know it all too well. You're looking through Pinterest, you finally find that perfect crochet project you want to make, and then you pull up the pattern. There's numbers, there's abbreviations, there's brackets, there's so much said in such little words, and you're like, what is going on? There's pictures, there's diagrams. You are wondering, what kind of foreign language is this and why don't I know about it? So today we are going to get you to learn how to read a crochet pattern with confidence so you can make those projects that you want to make so bad. Okay, so first up, we've got our pattern information. Somewhere on your crochet pattern, probably near the beginning of your pattern, it's going to tell you, is this a pattern for beginners or for advanced crocheters, or maybe somewhere in the middle, because trust me, you don't want to bite off more than you can chew. No. Don't do it. It's tempting, but don't do it. With that being said, how do you know what your crochet level is? Typically, if you're buying a pattern, let's say on Etsy, there's going to be a description of the pattern that's going to say, hey, if you can do these, and these stitches and you have these skills, this is a good pattern for you. Okay, moving on to the terms of the pattern. It's either going to be written in US standard terms or UK. Yes, they're different, so just check that out, and I'll link a little cheat sheet in the description so that you can pull that up and kind of know what you're working with. It'll give you all the different abbreviations. Moving on to gauge, this is essentially just a little swatch that you're going to crochet, and whenever you measure it, you want it to match the measurement given. So for example, in this case, 4 chains, so if you just chain 4, should equal 1 inch. Now, this is not an exact measurement. If it's a tiny bit off, that's typically okay. It's just, you don't want to be a ½ inch off or something drastic, because if you're making a piece of clothing or a hat, you don't want the sizing to be off. So it's just a general guideline to follow. Now, what should you do if your gauge doesn't match? In that case, you would play around with your hook size, and you could use a smaller hook or a larger hook to obtain the gauge. Our gauge is typically going to be unblocked. So of course, in this example, I'm not going to block 4 chains. So just so that you can have that information, but there might be a gauge sometimes where you do have to block it. So pay attention to that. And if you're not familiar with blocking, it's where you get the fabric wet and then you reshape it. Sometimes that can make it a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger. So yeah, but we're not doing that for the gauge. Also, the pattern will typically have the finished size written out for you so that you can know what to expect. Okay, next up, we've got our materials. Pretty straightforward. You're going to need your hook, scissors, yarn needle. You're also obviously going to need yarn, but that will be our next step. Next up, we've got our yarn, which looks really intimidating, but it's not. I will break it down for you and tell you what this means, because it's actually helpful information. So first up, it's going to say, typically it's going to be listed like this. It's going to tell you where it's from. So this one's from Hobby Lobby. Then it will move to the style name of the yarn, which is I Love This Yarn. We're going to move on to the weight next, which is worsted weight. Then the material type of the yarn. So if it's acrylic, if it's polyester, if it's cotton, if it's wool, that way you can have that to reference. Next will be how many yards come per skein. So in this case, 252 yards come per 5 ounce, which is the weight of the skein. So that's just helpful information to have. Then it will also indicate the color and then typically how many skeins you need. If you're making something bigger like a blanket or a cardigan, then you may have to do the math with the yardage and see how many skeins you're going to need, because each size would need a different number or amount of yarn. Also, the material is important here, whether it's cotton or acrylic or polyester or whatever, because say you don't want to use this brand of yarn and you want to get a different one, there's one you like better, it is helpful to see if you need to use cotton yarn or whatever it might be. For example, with a dishcloth, you're going to want to stick with cotton yarn. So if you get a different brand, just make sure that it's cotton. Also, just a little side note, this is not the yarn that I used for this project. I'm just using scraps of worsted weight yarn that I have, but I listed this one as an example. The abbreviation section is key to understanding the pattern instructions, and it's really simple. So there's going to be an abbreviation for each crochet stitch out there. So example, CH means chain, DC double crochet, SL, ST slip stitch, and then ST is just the abbreviation for stitch. So this is helpful to know so that when you're reading through the pattern, you can connect in your mind, okay, CH means chain. Alrighty, our last step before we get to the instructions is going to be our notes. These are important as well. So this is going to tell us that our turning chain counts as a stitch. I have a video that goes into this concept more in detail. If it's confusing for you, this used to confuse me when I first started crocheting. So it's important to get some clarity, and it's really, really simple once it's broken down. So I will link that in the description for you as well. The notes also tell us that this pattern is worked in joined rounds, which means we'll be crocheting in the round with either a magic circle or a different method of creating a little ring. And that means we'll complete a round before we start another. Lastly, this tells us that brackets indicate repetition. So when we're reading that pattern, if we see brackets, there's going to be instructions for how many times to repeat whatever is in those brackets. I'm going to swap the camera and do a quick run through of these rounds and the instructions. This is not going to be a detailed how to make a granny square step by step. I already have a different video for that. This is just simply to show you how to follow what the pattern says. So we're going to jump into that. All right, so our instructions say to make a magic circle or to join 4 and join with a slip stitch in the first chain to make a ring. So I'll show both of those options. So we can either go in with our magic circle and make a ring. By the way, if you wanted a more in-depth tutorial on that magic circle, I do have that available. So that's our first option, or we can do our second option here, which is in the parentheses, which says that we can chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can join with a slip stitch into the first chain. So that doesn't mean the first chain from the hook, it means the first chain in general. So we would make a slip stitch, and that also forms our ring that we can crochet into right there. From here, that CH means to chain, so we would chain 1, 2, 3, and then it says to double crochet 2 into the ring. So we want to crochet 2 double crochet into that ring. So there's 1 and there's 2. Now we hit the brackets, which we know means a repetition. So we're going to read that sentence in full. Chain 3, 3 double crochet 3 times. So that means we're going to repeat what's in those brackets 3 times. So we're going to start with that chain 3 as it indicates, 1, 2, 3, followed by 3 double crochet. So that's 1 time. And we will repeat that process 2 more times. So, by the way, y'all, if this is helpful at all, I'm actually working on a crochet beginner bundle that I'll have available for you here pretty soon. That will kind of go over any beginner questions. So it'll be more beginner focused so that you're not just jumping into a pattern wondering what the heck is going on. You have this video to reference, and then I'll also have other videos referenced for common beginner problems that you might run into. So I'm excited for that to release to y'all soon. But anyways, now we are at the end of this sequence of 3 repetitions. So from here, it says to chain 3. So we will chain 3. And we'll join with a slip stitch into the top of the beginning chain. So when we look at our beginning chain right here, this is what it means when it counts as a stitch. You see all these clusters of 3, that beginning chain counted as a stitch right there. But we look at the top of it at the outer edge, and that is where we join with our slip stitch. From here it says to fasten off, so we're gonna go ahead and snip our yarn, leaving a long enough tail to weave in the ends, and we will come back with our second color. Now for round 2, it says to draw up the second color in one of the chain spaces. So I'm using this pretty blue right here, and the way I like to draw up a second color is by making a slip knot on my hook, and then holding it like normal, and then I place my hook in the chain space like it says, and I will just yarn over and slip stitch. So that way we have a loop drawn. Then it says to chain 3, so we're going to go ahead and chain 3. And from here it says 2 double crochet into the chain space, which is right here. The chain space is where we're working. So we're going to do 2 double crochet. Then it says to chain 3. So we will chain 3 and we'll finish up this space with 3 double crochet. Now we move on to the brackets, which again is going to indicate a repetition. So it says into the next chain space. That means we know we move from this one to the next one. We're going to do 3 double crochet, 3 chains, followed by another 3 double crochet. So 3 double crochet, 3 chains, and 3 double crochet. So that's our first time, and so we need to do this 3 times. So that was 1, 2, and 3. We will meet right there. And our next instruction in round 2 is to join with a slip stitch into the top of that beginning chain. We know we chain 3, so that's 1, 2, 3. We will slip stitch in that outer chain and we'll fasten off and draw up our 3rd color. I've drawn up a loop with my 3rd color, and it also says to chain 3 because we're going to be making that corner the same way that we made this one, followed by 2 double crochet into that chain space. So there's 1 and there's 2. Next we have another chain 3, another 3 double crochet into the same chain space. Now it tells us in the brackets we're going to start repeating. It says into the next chain space 3 double crochet, and as you might notice, the next chain space is not in the corner. So in this one it tells us that we are just going to do 3 double crochet. Then we will complete that same repetition in the corner of the 3 double crochet, 3 chain, 3 double crochet, and that will be one of the processes complete. So we're going to want to do that 3 times all the way around. Last but not least, we'll complete another 3 double crochet in this last chain space. And then we'll join with a slip stitch into the very last stitch. From here, you would fasten off and weave in all your ends. And a lot of times granny squares are made with 4 rounds, not 3, but for the sake of this example pattern, I only did 3. But yes, you will go ahead and weave in all your ends. Now that you know the basics of reading a crochet pattern, you can approach your next project with confidence. My beginner bundle will be available here pretty soon, but that would be a great next step for reading crochet patterns, as it's very beginner focused and it'll have tutorial videos for some of the questions that might come up whenever you first learn how to crochet. I would love to have you subscribe so that we can meet here again next week for another crochet tutorial. Thank you so much. Bye.